This is Gordon. We got Kevin's truck back here again today, and it's going to be a busy day all day. We're going to do several things, split it up into several videos, so if you don't see some of it on this video, just look for the other ones. They'll be up there. We're going to change the front brake shoes because we have some cracks on the bottom. The shoes got plenty of meat on them, but the cracks, well, it's a DOT violation, so we'll have to change those. Here is something else we are going to do today, is replace this air dryer. We're going to replace this, but before we replace it, we're going to go through the procedure of replacing the filter on that. And then he's going to just replace this whole thing because it's got a leak right here. You see this oil stain? It's got a pinhole leak rusted through this outer can on it. He's got a lot of oil on those hoses down below there where the air spits out. Oil stain on the bumper shield underneath there. That tells me that the air compressor is worn out, and so we're going to discuss doing something with that possibly. I'm underneath this air dryer, and I want to make one little point here. Is this valve right on the bottom with that circle in the middle of it. That thing comes off with like 3 bolts, and sometimes that thing will leak, and it's no big deal to take that off and to go to your truck supply and get a little kit to put in that. And it's real cheap, and you just put it back together. It's nothing to it. You don't need to know how to do anything but take it off. You look at it and you put the little kit in it. I forgot what's in there, but there was nothing there, just a little diaphragm or a gasket or something, and you put it back on. I haven't done it in several years, but I remember doing it 3 or 4 times and there was nothing to it. I just don't remember exactly what was in there, but we'll probably look at that when we get this thing off of there. You do it with it mounted right where it is. Just take those 3 screws off, unplug the plug on it, and replace the little gasket in there. I took a air hose, compressed air hose, and cleaned all these fittings off. Cleaned off the top all the way around the thing. Got all that gunky junk off of it so that it's a little easier to handle taking this thing off of there. But before we take it off, we're going to go ahead and take this can off and take the filter out and put it back in, just to show how to do that, because you don't normally have to change this thing. You just change the filter inside. Got all the bolts out around the bottom of this, whatever you want to call that tank there. The 2 in the back are the mounting ones, the ones that mount it, and this mounting ring on top. I'm going to take this mounting ring off the top and knock this can loose. It'll come off of there. There's an O-ring seal in there. And then we're going to mount this thing back on here with these 2 mounting bolts down here. We're going to mount it back on there so we can take the filter off. We got it loose. This bolt is still in here, and this ring is not real good. Anyway, here's that upper can, and it has a pinhole in it somewhere. Kind of odd that would happen to this thing, but look, the hole is way down here by my fingertip. I can get this on the camera, right? See the hole down there, and it's kind of odd because it looked like it was leaking up here, but it's actually leaking underneath this. I wasn't in the camera, sorry, but it's leaking under here, but it looked like it was leaking up here because of this big heavy pack of rust. Look at that, just rust. This can is gone. So yeah, that's bad. So just to show how to do this, I'm going to mount this back up there with 2 of these bolts. They don't have to be put on real tight. I only tightened one of these bolts back on. I just stuck the other one in just to keep it from turning. This filter is full of oil, so I'm going to dry it off a little bit because I'm going to wrap a fan belt around it. I don't want the fan belt slipping on it. Alright, I got a fan belt here. Got to put it on in such a way that I can turn this thing. That's going to tighten it. That's the wrong way. Got to put it on this way. And make a wrench to turn this thing off of there. Yeah, I wanted a belt shorter than this, but couldn't find one. This one's going to be too long. It looks like we might get it like this. Give it a try. There she goes. All right. And your new kit will come with 2 O-rings, a big one right here and a smaller one that goes in here. Here's the smaller one inside here. So this thing has a real high dollar core charge on it. But that's how you change that filter. Either take this thing off and bring it up there with you and buy your new kit, or be ready to pay for a high dollar core. Because I forgot what it is. It was high. I don't remember. Like $40 or $60 if I remember. I forgot. So much for changing that. We're going to take this whole thing off of here, undo these hoses, and take this whole unit off of there because this one is bad, needs to be replaced. Here's the new one, and as you can see, we have got to put the old fittings back in here. There's only 2, and then the plug for the little solenoid here is, you know, it just plugs in there. But then anyway, I said only 2. There's 3. There's one here too. Got this first fitting off. We're gonna put a little Teflon tape on that. Put that on. Put that in that hole right there. And when I do Teflon tape, I always finish my wrap coming over this way. I got the nipple pointing to my left, and I bring it over the top from behind and down in the front. That way, when I screw it in, the tape doesn't unwind. When I'm screwing it in, it keeps it on there tight. I don't know that it really makes any difference. It's just my preference. I feel better about it. And when I took this off, it was facing that way on the other one, so we're going to tighten that down and leave it facing that direction. I had to take the little one back off because there wasn't room to put the big one on. I screwed up. So took the little one off, put the big one on, then put the little one back on. They're both on there tight right now, and I gotta get the other one off that goes down here. It's still on there. Something different turned up here. I took this off the bottom of the one that's still on the truck that goes into here. Well, as you can see, this is a big check valve, and it's not going to go in there, but I can see a check valve inside there that goes in sideways from here. So this one must supersede the one that's on there. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put this in the vise, and I'm going to take this off of there, and I just clamped this big check valve in the vise, and hopefully this piece here will fit in that hole on there like it should. This kit comes with new mounting hardware, but I'm not going to mess with the base part of it because it's still good on the truck. We'll just put the band on the top. We are pushed for time on this job. And I got to take 2 bolts off, those 2 right there, to mount the thing.